In this video, we are going to look at breakout rooms. I'll try to give you some helpful tips and guidance on how to create them and engage with them as well. A couple of things to remember is one, in settings, I could create breakout rooms in advance, which is great if I have group projects and I know the groups in advance. So I could, pre-populate it, and then when I send them into breakout rooms, out they go. If I'm going to create a breakout room, though, just for class time to work in small groups, I'm probably not going to do that just because you never know who's absent. You don't want a breakout room of like 2 kids and then other breakout rooms of like 5 or 6. Also, speaking of size, the education theory behind breakout rooms says that you no more than 4 to 5 students in a breakout room. The idea behind it is you want kids actively engaged. You can still assign roles like timekeeper, note keeper, share, etc., but without having too much to manage and go on within it. Um, it might, if you find you want kids to rename themselves. So this is me renaming my iPad, but students are able to rename themselves. So I could put a 1 in front of my name, and that way, then when I go to make breakout rooms, that 1 will show up in numerical order. So then it'll have all the 1s, all the 2s, etc. You could do it that way. You could even do it alphabetically. So if I wanted, all the English teachers, for example, I could say something like this, and all the English teachers. And so then when the iPad, when I go to create breakout rooms, it'll be in alphabetical order that way. And they can do this on the iPad or on, on a computer. Obviously, I would never recommend that you rename every student like this. Students can clearly should be able to rename themselves. So let's launch some breakout rooms. So a couple of things. One, I could do it automatically. And note down here that it will tell me how many participants would be in each room. So if I had 18 students, for example, and I start creating rooms, it might tell me, okay, 8 to 9 kids in a room, then 7 to 8, 6 to 7, based on, the number of students. And so if I do it automatically, Zoom will take care of it, and off kids will go running to the breakout rooms. But let's do manually, and because you might find that, hey, I don't want Billy's iPad to be talking with their best friend, and Zoom may or may not put them in randomly, but I'm going to make sure people are divided up. Okay, so we can create these rooms, and what this will allow me to do is, if I forgot or some students come in late, I can add another room to it. So now I can assign people to room 3 as well. The other thing is, if I've already liked what I did, so I've created breakout rooms once, we went into our rooms, we're back as a whole group, and now I want them back in small groups, I can hit this recreate, and now I can just use my last settings, okay? So notice it's not room 3 because I created that manually. These are the last settings that I made, all right? For the options, I like that this one is checked because when I create breakout rooms, I want students to go. I don't want them to wait or dilly-dally. I want them to go and get started working. I do allow students to return back to the main session at any time. However, I'll show you what that looks like when students can ask for help in their breakout room. So there's no need actually to do this. So if you don't want them to leave, you can unclick that and they can ask for help and you'll go help them. This is a nice feature. It gives them a timer and you a timer, a countdown timer, so that way you know how much time's left. The downside to this is you need to be exact. So if in my lesson I have 15 or 20 minutes planned, I can do that. If it's a gambit and I'm just going to let them work until I think that they're finished, this probably isn't the best feature to have. But I could also change it to where maybe I say, okay, it's 20 minutes or 12 minutes, excuse me, of people working, or we have 20 minutes. So I can do this, and like I said, it's a nice feature. It gives them a timer. It's very cool and very helpful. The last thing, the countdown timer. So rather I manually close all the breakout rooms or the timer runs out. This gives students 60 seconds to finish whatever they're doing and come to the main room. And I could increase it to 2 minutes, or I could decrease it as needed. I find 60 seconds is a pretty fair amount of time. Okay. All right, so let's open some rooms, and you'll see that, oops, it's going. You'll see that I get my timer right here, okay? And if I want to go to the different rooms, I could. This one's having a little connectivity issue, so we'll come back to that in a second. But let's say I want to go to room 3. Oh, there they went. So let's go to room 3, right? I could go into room 3, and while I'm in room 3, and again, I always like to have participants and chats up. While I'm in room 3, next thing I know, I get an ask for help message from room 1. So that means I could go right now if necessary, or I could send them a message back that just says, hey, I'll be there in a minute. But let's go right now to room 1. So I'm going to go directly there. And you can see that I'm in room 1, right? And room 1 asked the question. You know what? That's a great question. So because I liked room 1's question, I can broadcast to everyone, hey, and I'll just type test comment, this is what happened. And this is going to broadcast it to all the rooms, okay? So every student will see this. The downside to this is, unlike chat where I could send a link, this is just like a PA announcement. So it just comes through and they just see a broadcast message. It's very helpful though if you forgot to maybe give them some directions or you want to remind them of something. So let's go, let me leave this room. Let's go to the main session. And please remember to hit leave breakout room on that, not leave the meeting or close it. But let's say I want to bring everybody back early, or maybe I didn't set a timer, right? You can see the timer still working. I can close the window and you see they now have, this is their 60-second timer that says, hey, go back to the main session, okay? Now, once everyone's in session, okay, so now everyone's back in the main lobby and everyone's in session. I like to see everyone, so we're going to go to gallery view, not speaker view. I then, if I wanted to go back to breakout rooms, again, I could recreate them. I have these still up because room 2 and room 3 are still active. But I could go back through and I could recreate my breakout rooms if I wanted to reuse them. And again, if I wanted to, I could change my options. Okay? So I hope that helps. And if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask, and I will try to clear it up. Thank you.